So I just got to the shop. It's about 6:30 in the morning, and damn it, I'm so upset they didn't pick up my dumpster yesterday. Or no, they didn't pick it up on Friday. It's Monday, and it smells so bad because a lot of that grass is still there from Wednesday. So they come every 2 days, but for some reason they didn't come Friday. I called the place. I got no response, no reply. Anyway, hopefully they come today. If they don't come today, we're gonna have problems. So anyway, yeah, I come in at 6 to 6:30, depending on how fast I get out of bed in the morning. But anyway, I usually just kind of look around, make sure everything's still in there. I do have a camera system that alerts me for any movement, so that works out really good. But still, I like to look around and make sure, like, you know, the big things are here, or at least the trailers have most of their equipment on it, from, you know, the guys putting things away. Sometimes I'll notice, you know, there'll be, like, for instance, a rake, like, I don't know, everything's here, but if there was a trimmer missing there, I'd say something. I noticed there's one missing here. That's a little strange. So I'm going to try to remember to ask them about that. Oh, here it is. That's one thing, man. I wish that I could be a little more organized in here. I don't know. I just can't seem to be really organized. Sometimes when everything's gone and everybody's using things, I'll try and organize some things, but it always ends up the same exact way. You know, my mower bags all in a pile. The air blowers all together. They hang the trimmers up there like that. You know, they mix all these hand tools everywhere. But when they load up and all leave, look how empty this place gets. Sometimes he even takes the aerator, but we didn't have one on the list today. We got a spare mower. I don't know. It's not a problem at all. I don't really care. Sometimes I'm like, I wish it could just all be put away a little more organized. One of the first things I usually do in the morning is I will charge the battery on my spray tank, because my battery's not hooked up to my alternator. And so the battery does die, and it makes it really hard for the hose to roll up. So anyway, I usually hook this up, plug it in, have it charge. And I make sure there's no light on this, so I have to kind of feel and make sure that it's charging. So that's what I do. Just kind of walk around at first, just kind of make sure, you know, everything's kind of the way it should be. And I go into the office part. It's so early. I don't like turning on the bright lights. I just turn on the little desk lamp. And then from this point, I do a couple of things. I start to do the accounting, meaning I categorize all my expenses from the last time I sat on the computer. And then I'll make sure everybody's got their dispatch together, so everybody's routes are full. And then I'll read emails, and there'll be some that, so when it comes to emails, most of the time, I respond to the ones that are kind of like, the customer has seemingly an urgent question, you know, like, hey, when's my mow day again? Or, hey, you guys, somebody broke a sprinkler while they were on the property. Those kind of questions I'll typically respond to right away, over the weekend even, or at night. But there'll be other ones that are like, hey, I need to update my credit card. Something that requires me to be on the computer to answer them, I'll typically wait until the next day, because the office people can do that. Or if it's a request for like an estimate, and I didn't get to it, I will typically wait till the next day too for that. Or if they ask for a request for an estimate, but they didn't give us all the vital information that we need, like they didn't give us, a lot of people send an email and say, hey, how much is it to mow a lawn? And that'll be the whole email. And so typically I will respond to something like that. I'll say, hey, we're gonna need your address and your phone number and your name, and then we'll measure it and get back to you. So sometimes when they do that, then I'll also reply with their quote, because they know that I'm reading emails. But anyway, it's all like, you know, every email is different, you know, so I may not answer all of them that night. But that brings up another topic. Like, I got into this argument with my office girl the other day, who I encourage my office people to call me out on something or question a policy. I don't like to run my business just because I want to do this. Like, if I do a policy, I typically want a good reason as to why that policy is the way it is or in place. I don't like just saying, well, that's just the way I want to do it. I don't like doing that, because I feel like I want to hear everybody's, not everybody, but, you know, at least my office manager, I want to hear her input on some of the things. But anyway, she was arguing with me about, she doesn't want me to answer any emails over the weekend or after business hours from anywhere before 9 a.m. or after 6 p.m. She does not want me to answer any emails, because she said, and then I said, well, most of our customers are working customers, and they don't get home till about that late. So that's when they're finally asking us some questions. And so I feel like it's our duty to respond to our customers at that time, because our customers are working, most likely are working customers, and they need us to kind of be somewhat accommodating to them. So I don't mind answering some questions, you know, 10 o'clock at night, because that's when they're finally thinking about it. And what an awesome service to be able to answer their questions when they're asking. I, as a homeowner, have tried contacting, you know, fence companies. When I finally think about it, me and my wife are sitting down on a couch or something, and we're saying, hey, should we look into getting a new fence, because the old one's like falling apart? Yeah, so let's go online and see, you know, who's going to respond to us. And then there are times where nobody responds to us, like, ever, and we're just frustrated, because we really want to we just talked about something and we want to get it done. And I feel like that's the same way when somebody's asking us a question about their lawn. I don't think they're, anyway, so my point is, she doesn't want me to do that. So I said, well, why not, you know? And she said, well, because unless you're going to do it, what happens when you decide not to do it, and then all the customers start feeling like, well, you know, you guys used to read my email all the time and get back to me, and now you don't. I understand her point too, but I said, no, if I ever delegate this job to somebody else to answer emails after business hours, it's because it's part of the job. You know, like I said, I don't expect you, my office manager, to answer emails at 10 o'clock at night. I don't. But if I were to hire an office manager and say, you're now going to take over like all the duties of the office, part of your job also is to answer emails. Don't drop what you're doing. If you're out eating in a restaurant somewhere and you get an email on your phone, I don't need you to answer it right away, but I need you to get back to them whenever it's convenient for you. You know, and she's like, well, you're not going to find anybody. You're not going to find an office manager to want to do that. And I said, well, then they're not going to be my office manager. Okay? You know what I mean? So anyway, what are your thoughts on that? Look, I get it, man. I get it. I have friends that have big, giant lawn care businesses, and they don't answer. They will never reply to an email after business hours. And I get it. I understand. You know, when I bought something, let's say I buy something from like Best Buy. They close their stores at whatever time they close. I don't expect an email right away when if it's 10 o'clock at night. I don't expect an email reply. But I also know that Best Buy doesn't give a shit about me. They don't, you know? But my little lawn care business, we obviously do care about customers. So you know what I mean? I just feel like I understand as a homeowner needing services, needing a reply at nighttime. That's when a lot of decisions are made in the household, you know, during dinner, or they finally get around to it and they just want somebody to acknowledge what they need and get it done. I mean, most of those emails that come in after business hours are a simple request, not typically a giant, complicated complaint that requires, you know, a report to get done. It's just a simple, yes, we know that, we'll handle it, or yes, thanks for letting us know. Something simple. So we're going to do that as long as I can help it. I do understand my office manager. She's like, you know, we need to have a system that, you know, we can do when we get into the office, that we can start getting back to all these people. But like I said, it's not that big a deal for me to just reply to somebody. So that was something that I kind of, you know, had a little argument with my office girl. And like I said, I encourage challenges like that because it makes me really think about, you know, something that I've been doing or something that I want to do. And so I've bounced off so many ideas with my office manager. It's just great to be able to say things out loud and have somebody, you know, give you their input. And it forces you to think of other options sometimes. So anyway, so yeah, that's what I do in the morning. We have one guy that comes in at 7 in the morning. I can't even tell what time it is right now. It's 7 on the dot right now, so let's see if he's showing up yet. No, he's still not here. He's usually right on time, so I know he'll be here any minute. So he usually gasses up all of the small equipment, and all the mowers and all the gas tanks. So usually these two 15-gallon tanks will last anywhere from 7 to 10 days. Sometimes one of them will be empty. The other one will still have like half. So I'll just fill the one up. But anyway, I do it because it saves time at the gas station, and it makes things so that they don't have to mix the gas themselves. at the gas station or wherever, and then they end up having to buy those little quarts of oil. When I started doing that, I had, like, no joke, like 15 quarts of oil between all the trucks. Some of the trucks had like 2 or 3 quarts in them. They didn't even bother to check when they were buying a new one. And down here where I basically have all these oil, there was like so many of them. So for the first, like, I don't know, 3 or 4 months, I didn't buy any oil because I just kept using all of those quarts. I finally finished using them. And anyway, so next year I'm actually going to buy those bigger gas tanks with the professional commercial pumps. And I'm going to fill up the trucks every morning and fill up all the equipment. So right now we don't fill up the grandstands, so they still need to go to the gas station for that and for the trucks. But it makes things so much easier. I've even asked the guys multiple times, hey, is that working out, you know, doing the gas the way we've been doing it? And they say, yeah, absolutely. And I'm like, okay. I just want to make things easier for everybody, you know? But yeah, they say they never worry about mixing gas. Sometimes they say the gas is a little light on the color, so they think that we're not mixing the oil right sometimes. I could totally see that. So what they think is sometimes they think, we don't know if he's actually doing this, but they think instead of putting a mix inside the mix tank, he'll put the regular gas in. That's what they've said, but it's never stopped any equipment from working or breaking or anything. It's just they noticed that. So I've mentioned that to my guy, and so he's aware of that. But anyway, so he loads up all the equipment on the trailers, puts them onto the truck, and then he loads everything up for everybody in the morning. So like I said, he usually gets here around 7, and then the other guys start trickling in around 7:30 to 8. I used to be really stingy on, hey, get here at 7:30, no later than 7:30. But now I'm okay if they get here at 8. They get their list done. You know, it's all good. So anyway, I was doing that. I basically had this guy come in at 7 to do all this because he was needing more hours, and he was already working, you know, from till it gets dark Monday through Friday. And he was like, you know, and I go, well, you can work Saturday. And he's like, no, dude, I can't. I need my weekends. So I said, well, why don't you come in at 7? That gives you an extra hour a day. That's pretty much an extra 5 hours a week. And he was like, done. And it was one of the best decisions I've made because he gets everybody ready. He's here. He's basically here just for 30 minutes before he used to get here. But now everybody leaves faster, so we're saving time. We're saving labor because everybody would load their own trucks up, and it was just they would just drag doing it, you know. And now they basically get here, park their car, hop into their truck, and go. I mean, that fast. So they get their own water though. So I tell them, you know, get your own water. That way nobody can blame you. Nobody gets blamed for not having fluids in the car. So anyway, that's basically my morning, what I do in the mornings. And yeah. So I was doing my morning routine, making sure everybody's on the dispatch board. And I realized when I get to the Mo guys, I realized that it was already done. So I think my new office girl, that was one of her like lists of things that she's gonna start doing once she starts getting the hang of everything. I guess her and the other office person, my office manager, kind of showed her how to do it or whatever. It's already done for the whole week. I know that we're gonna need to look at it and tweak it here and there. If we get a new job or somebody gets canceled or whatever, but man, it's just a weird feeling. I was here ready to do the dispatches. Those jobs are take quite a bit of time to put them in order, and it's already been done for me. So it's a weird feeling, you know. I'm getting closer to not having to maybe come in the morning that early, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, it's just a weird feeling. Okay, so everybody's off. Everybody's loaded and gone, and the routes are all put together. And my office manager calls in and says, hey, she's not feeling good, so can she have the day off? I said, yeah, no problem, of course. We've got the new office girl coming in today. She trained all week yesterday, and she's good to go. The last day, last week, Friday, she answered all the phone that came in. I mean, she did great, so super happy. So she was actually put on the regular schedule this week. Anyway, she comes into work. So my office manager has a day off, and then the new office girl came in today to start her first shift alone out of training, and she basically wanted to talk to me and said that her life changed over the weekend and her plans are now different, and she's not going to be able to work here anymore. So now I've got to answer phones. It's slow, you know, so I'm not worried about it. It's just frustrating how you never know. That's why at this stage I'm scared to stay home, because there's always something happening. I think that, you know, there'll be a time where there'll be a backup in place for everybody and everything, but right now, having all the positions filled with just the one player, you know, makes things where there's a lot of variables, you know. The field workers out there, the techs, you know, they make good money, so they don't really call off very much. I mean, I can't even remember when one of these main technicians called off. I can't even, well, actually, one of them called off last week, but it was something to do with the DMV. He really didn't want to go, and he came right after. So he actually did come to work. He didn't stay off the whole day. So, you know what I mean? But the office person, or if one of those guys did need to take the day off, you know, it's really tight right now, which is great. And the office person, you know, I'm not worried that she quit. You know, she was good. She had a great personality, great phone personality. She got along with me and Emily really well. So you know, that's kind of sucks, but really we don't need an extra office person right now. I'm basically doing it just so they'll be ready for next spring. So, and now that the phones do ring, not enough to where we really need somebody, but enough to where we can train somebody. I was really happy about that. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to post the job posts on Facebook right now and asking for a part-time employee that will eventually turn into full-time next season. I think that's the best way to go about it. With this one, I just kind of, you know, I just said I'm looking for somebody to answer phones, and then this girl came in. She wanted a full-time job, and I was like, yeah, sure, you know what I mean? And so I basically promised her full-time, but don't really need that. So I think I'm gonna just try to find somebody part-time, just to kind of get get them trained, so that when the busy season comes in spring, we're just closing, because that's when the phones go crazy, and that spring sign-up season is what carries us through, you know, August, September, October. So I don't know. Anyway, it's just kind of funny how, you know, you wake up in the day and you think one thing at work, and then, you know, as the business owner, you see everything, and then I have nobody in the office today. which is fine. Like I said, it's kind of slow, so I'm not too worried about it, but damn it.